Hello and welcome to Not Without My Sister, where this week I thought we would talk about, fresh off the back of being fooled by my sister, April Fool. So the other morning I woke up, I'd like to point out I have a newborn. Is he still a newborn?
Oh, yeah,
6 months
relatively
old.
newborn.
I have a relatively newborn, not getting a lot of sleep. He's waking up every morning at 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m, needing to go to the toilet and then struggling with that reality for about an hour and a half. And not to mention the fact that he still wakes up every 45 minutes to eat.
But you're very even-keeled. Your emotions are calm, positive.
Thank you, I'm glad you noticed. I woke up the other morning to a text from my sister that said, "Hey, I'll ring you in a few minutes," but, which is actually a very you thing to say. Like, I'll ring you in a few minutes, but just want to tell you this. I'll ring you in a few minutes, but just want to tell you we've sold the house and we're moving halfway between here and India. And I can imagine as well that she was like, that you were like, I won't say we're moving to Ireland because that, like, she'll know that's not true. You were like, keep it realistic. Moving between here and Indy so that Don can work in music. I didn't know how to tell you. And I literally got I was literally blurrily half awake. The baby was kind of just waking up, kind of half crying, half laughing. I was like sitting on the edge of my bed in my knickers, like looking at my phone going, what the actual fuck? And I had so many emotions went through my head that, like, firstly I was like, what, how could she do this to me, right? And then I was like, it's not about me. And I was back to, how could she do this to me? I was like, I suppose that would be good for Don. And I was like, who am I going to hang out with? So literally went through all of these. And it took me, probably only 3 minutes.
No, sorry. It took you longer than that. So
No, because I didn't read it immediately. I was still in bed. I didn't get it immediately.
Split screen to my house, right? Where first of all, I went through, I'll text mom. Actually, I was delighted. I'd remembered it was April Fool's. So I was like, I'll text mom and I'll tell her Rosemary's pregnant. I was like, no, she'll be too delighted. I was like, I'll tell her I'm pregnant. I was like,
she'll be too delighted.
And I was like, I'll tell her. And then I was like, well, she'll know that's not possible. And I'm like, no, she won't know that. She'll be delighted. So then I said, I'll tell her we're moving home. Like, she'll be delighted. I'll tell her we're moving anywhere. She'll be delighted. I was like, anything I went through, mom would actually take it too seriously. So like, I'll text Rosemary and tell her I'm pregnant. She's like, she'd never believe it. So then I said, I'll tell her we're moving. I was like, she won't believe that either. So I did. I stayed within the realms of possibility. And I texted, and I was really proud of hey, wasn't sure how to tell you this. But then I texted you. I then fell around my bed laughing. I was so delighted. And I was so excited for you to read this. I laughed so hard.
So annoying.
I then told Don what I had just done. And then I got another good 8 minutes of hysterical laughing around the bed by myself. Once I relived it with Don. I then waited for you to respond. I waited and I waited. I got in the car to go to work. I drove down the driveway. I remembered what I'd done again, and I fell around the place laughing again in the car. I know. And then finally, I think I had to call you to be like, "Where's the response?"
No. I then wrote back to you and said, "You arsehole," or something.
Oh yes, and I laughed so hard. I was delighted with that, and then it brought forth all these other memories of April Fools that I had done that had been spectacularly successful. I mean, it's hard to do a good April Fools.
You are an arsehole. You know what? It's not hard to do a good April Fools if you're a sociopath like you. Whatever. So you find it easy to do a good April Fool's because you're mean.
No.
I find it hard to do a good April Fool's because I'm so nice. I'm like, don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Don't upset anyone.
No, I remember Julie and I, when we lived in Paris, it was April Fool's, and we decided, we were like, let's call mom and dad and tell them that, my mom and dad, and tell them that Galliano has gone bankrupt, right? So
I remember this.
So called mom and dad, and I was like, Mom, Dad, some really bad news. I was like, Galliano has gone bankrupt. And mom's like, what? And I honestly remember, I had to tell him, and then I had to hold the phone away from my face because I was laughing so hard.
I've seen you do this. There's no laughter more pungent than the laughter you get at your own April Fool's.
It's true. I mean, sure. One of the comments was, "Wish Beatrice didn't laugh so hard at her own jokes." Right? So I mean, whatever. Noted.
Whatever. It's like somebody's just jealous that they don't make jokes as funny as you.
To themselves.
Exactly.
As funny as they're to themselves.
Yeah,
That's definitely, just the awareness there. But that one really backfired on me because afterwards, when I had to, after they realized it wasn't and blah, blah, and they were fun. But Mom, she's never really outraged. She's just a bit like, oh, oh, funny joke, you know. But a couple of years later, when I was living in New York, and
Oh, yeah.
and I did actually lose my job at Vince Camuto. They shut down the department, and like it was just there was no, you know, big no. It was one day, one evening. We're going to meet. HR is going to meet you tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to have a group meeting, which wasn't all that unusual. Okay, fine. So at 9 o'clock, they had us all come in, and then they had us all sit at a big table, and they said, "Hey, we're actually shutting down this division, so we're going to meet with you each individually and go through your severance package," which, to be clear, was a 2-week severance package. It wasn't anything because we'd only been there for a year.
Not ideal.
And it's all at will, you know. And mainly severance is predicated upon how many years of service you have with the company. And it's usually 1 week per year. So it's not exactly...
So you actually did well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Out
in
of the 1
theory.
year, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not massive. Like, you could be somewhere for 10 years and get 10 weeks severance,
yeah,
which isn't exactly
God.
massive. But it wasn't even like, we're not giving you 2 weeks notice. It's closing down today. And downstairs, we were lucky enough to have Macaron, the beautiful macaroon cafe, which had delicious, expensive, all multi-flavors of macaroons and coffee, right? So I went down to Macaron and sat down, called mom and dad, and I said, listen, and it was not April 1st. And I said, it was June. And I said, you know, just call me. And I was actually really worried because Nash was a year old.
So you owned a house, you had a mortgage.
We owned a house, we had a mortgage. Don had stopped working because he was at home now.
With Nash.
I mean, so, I mean, we also thought like he could have gone back to work, you know, when we got home and luckily it was also the summer. I actually think it was a nice time to be let go because then had the whole summer to be at home worrying about what next job I would have. Yeah. So I called mom and dad and I was like, Mom, I got let go. She's joking, Philip. She's joking. I was like, I'm not joking. Actually, Philip, we've heard this one before. I was like, no, Mom. I actually got let go. Philip, just listen. Call us back when you're ready for a chat. Are you? Oh, this is a favorite. Is this a video? Is this a video call? No, it's a phone call, Mom. Is this a video call?
I can't see you.
I can't see you. No, Mom, it's a phone call. It's a phone call because I'm down here stuffing my face with expensive macaroons, having one last hurrah in my favourite cafe before I never come back here again.
Those macaroons, very expensive. What a waste of money.
Delicious. The lemon ones and the raspberry ones, delicious.
I wouldn't waste my money on them.
Outrageous. I hate the chocolate ones though. Gross.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, gross.
I like the lemon, vanilla, pistachios. Nice.
Oh, it's okay. They get very sweet. I think I like the fruit. Those fruit ones because they're more acidic. You know.
Yeah. I know.
Sharper.
That actually reminds me of the day after Atlas was born. So you had called Mom that night. Called Mom and Dad to let them know that that I'd had the baby and everything was fine. Blah blah blah. And I called them the next day and I was like, this is Atlas. And Mum goes, oh, so that is his name. That is his name, Philip. She obviously thought you were taking the piss when you told them what his name was.
She said it in a defeated tone of voice. Oh, she wasn't just high on the drugs.
And what about, speaking of going bankrupt, didn't you and an unnamed friend of yours also call another unnamed friend?
No. This was a classic, same day. So, in Paris, I actually told this to people in the office the other day. On April Fool's, I was reliving some of my prior victories.
April Fool's glory days.
No, I think I told you this on the phone and you were so horrified at like the absolute evil of this. So we had a friend who worked at another fashion house. And, in Paris, when you walk along the streets, they have those old news boards, with like the newspaper of the day.
Yeah. Hear ye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have the newspaper of the day like stuck up on it, and tied with a bit of string. And so this person this friend of ours was a pretty late riser. So she usually got to work around 10 or 10:30 and we had to be in at like 9 or 8:30 kind of thing. So on our way to work, we would walk to work. So we called her and we're like, hey, have you seen the news today? We're like, we're just walking to work. Have you seen the news? And she's like, no. We're like, we were like, your fashion house has unfortunately gone bankrupt, right? We were like expecting her to be just like, oh my God. She burst into like heart-rending sobs, like racked with like, she's like, oh my God. We again had the phone like at 20. We were like, sorry, we were literally
this is the part that I was horrified by.
We were like, success, the best April Fool's ever.
I'm telling you, sociopaths. This is the point at which I was like, surely when she started crying, you were like, oh shit, sorry, April Fool's, we're only joking. No, you're like, this is perfect.
We were like, it worked.
Victory.
We were like, finally, we've done a good April Fool's. And for those who asked, you asked this question and the people in the office asked this question, did she remain our friend? Yes, one of our best friends, because she realised it was worth it.
Stockholm syndrome. That's what. She's literally like, if this is what they do to me when they're my friends, what would they do if they're my enemies?
I have to say, actually an adorable person. But yeah, she did put up with a bit of crap from us and from, she sometimes I'd be like, you need to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, but you know
and
what?
I'm going, maybe I should have said, maybe I should have had the bit of self-awareness to realize she needed to stand up to me too.
You know what though? You gave her that banana dress of mine from H&M. So at least she has that to comfort her.
Oh yeah, she looked great in it as well.
Oh, fuck you. I couldn't believe you gave away my dress. That's like,
really?
You started it. This is it then. You started giving away my things before I started giving away your things.
Excuse me. One H&M dress.
Let's move on.
Okay.
There was one year that I saw Camille Thai, this restaurant in Dublin, put up a thing. This is terrible now. Put up a thing on their Twitter on April the 1st saying that they had discovered a way to, that there was some coconut. I think there was some coconut milk shortage at the time because of something that was going on politically, like globally. And they were like, we've actually cracked it now. We've solved it.
We've cracked it. We've cracked the coconut.
We've cracked it now. We've solved the problem. We've discovered a way to make cows produce coconut milk if we just feed them coconuts. And then their milk comes out like coconut milk, but like dairy, right? And I was literally, I think Beatrice, I might have sent this to about 5 people going, oh my God, science just blows my mind. Because I was like, it didn't occur to me that this was something that couldn't be true. Because like so many scientific things.
Oh,
I'm like, oh my God, amazing.
So many sciencey things.
So many science, like so many sciencey things. Even the fact that like lizards can change colour, you know what I mean? I'm like, amazing. Who would believe that is true if they hadn't seen it on a David Attenborough documentary? This Beatrice, I was like, of course, geniuses fed the cows coconut milk. Sure, they could feed them. What could they feed them next? Like they could feed them raspberries and be making like raspberry milkshakes. What was in my head? What was going on? But I also like my biggest issue with this wasn't like, this is ridiculous. It was like, how did they get the cows to eat the coconuts?
Well, you were probably more thinking like, thank God Bombay Palace is not going to run out of
Bombay
ingredients.
Pantry, you heathen. Bombay Palace. Bombay Pantry. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I'm telling you. I was actually thinking about this morning, right? So I'm really hoping to go home in May. We went in yesterday, got Atlas's passport booked in. They said officially it takes 5 to 7 weeks. We could have it in 2 to 3. I have my fingers crossed, right? Very expensive, $260 or something for the whole thing. Anyway, I'm hoping to go home in May. I was thinking I'm going to send Mom a list of things I want in the house. Aldi's frozen croissants, Super Quinn sausages.
They're not the same anymore since they got taken over, but they're better.
They are 10 times better than anything you get here.
They are.
Right, 10 times better.
They are.
More Aldi croissants.
Yeah, more Super Quinn sausages.
Nice bread. Like loads of nice bread.
I do like the Kroger toasting bread. It's the closest thing I've gotten to. Kroger toasting bread
is fine, but I haven't been able to get it in the last week or two.
I'll tell you what's going on with it, in my opinion.
Don's buying it all.
No, you didn't recognise it because the loaf has had about 5 pieces of bread taken out of it as inflation happens. And it's now what looks like a half loaf.
Oh, well.
For the same price. This is what's happening.
Still.
The whole world.
I haven't seen it, but like there have been no loaves there when I've been there.
The miracle of the half loaves.
So yeah, good bread. I also cannot wait to go over to Liam's and order myself a Bombay Pantry.
You know, also, I think like there is something about cheese and onion crisps. Although when I eat them, I'm like, I don't actually love these.
I don't like cheese and onion crisps.
I never really loved them. But there's something very Irish about them. But then I'm like, they do taste very oniony, and like I don't like it.
I've never liked them. No. Chipper.
Oh, I was thinking about the chipper this morning. I was actually wondering how. I actually spent a good 10 minutes this morning. I was reading Ian Rankin, Rebus. And he talked to, she arrives along for somebody with what they call in it a fish supper, which is like, battered haddock and chips. So she's like, do you want the rest of these chips? And I was just like, I love the rest of those chips.
Oh, I
honestly spent 10 minutes going, how do they make those chips taste that way? How do they make them soft yet delicious?
I've no idea. Because I'd never like a soft chip.
No, but like, what is it? I mean, I have oil. I have a deep fat fryer.
You have potatoes.
I have potatoes.
Why? You have hands with which to hold the knife with which to cut them.
And I watch them. They put them in. They take them out. Like, what's the difference?
I don't know, Beatrice, but I can't wait to go home. And when they say salt and vinegar, I'm going to go, loads.
I was even thinking, I haven't obviously been home since the pandemic started. And I was like, but I hope to God that Marcella's chipper in Rathcoole, or it's now in Johnstown, isn't it?
Both, I think.
Is still there. I was like, Mom's never mentioned this.
Oh, yeah, she hasn't.
No, she hasn't.
Ask her. I know they were did they turn it into a pizza place? And listen,
but I was thinking wouldn't a chipper be one thing that would survive the pandemic? Because even no matter how worried you are about it, like you can
still have it.
It's always going to make you feel better as well.
Like and also like they didn't have any seating, so they didn't have to worry about.
Yeah. It's like a spa. Do you know what I mean? It's like a massage. You're always going to feel better.
Oh God, I'd love a massage.
Anyway, or it's like they say allegedly about working, but I noticed today about working out. I noticed today that there is a thin layer of dust on my rower, so I better get back onto it. But I was like, allegedly they say, all these fit people say, You'll never regret a workout.
I know. I'm following this woman on Instagram, Sinead Grimes Beach, who was in the remake of 90210. She played Annie, right? And now she's like a YouTuber with her husband, and they have 2 kids and they live in Tennessee. And she had a baby about 2 months before I had Atlas, I think. And I put some things like, I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. and I was exhausted and I really didn't feel like working out, but I just did it. Now I feel so much better. And I literally just feel murderous.
But what else is she doing?
Well, she's also creating, she's doing as much as I'm doing, if you know what I mean. Like, she's creating YouTube content. She's doing like branded content. She does a podcast. So she's doing the same kind of content creator stuff, and her husband's a photographer.
Oh,
I know. Very, very annoying, but like good for her.
I need to flip
impressed.
my mindset. Yeah, I should be like, that's great.
I
That's
need to be
inspirational.
inspired rather than enraged, but I
yeah.
can't quite get there. Yeah, sorry, back to what I'm going to do when I go home to Ireland, even though I know this isn't the theme of the episode. Fish and chip, Bombay Pantry.
Avoca.
Oh my God, avoca.
Mushroom soup.
Oh, listen, I'm actually going to go, as Colin Farrell would say, breakfast, lunch and fucking dinner. Avoca, I'm going to go for my full breakfast. I'm going to go for my mixed berry scone with jam and cream. I'm going to go for my mushroom soup. I'm going to go for my chicken and broccoli bake. I'm going to go for one of those huge slices of pavlova. Oh my God, cannot, like meringue roulade, cannot wait.
What? I was looking up a recipe yesterday for a baked Alaska that had like I hate the term lady fingers, but anyway, had lady fingers on the bottom.
Gives me the ick.
I don't think that's how I normally make baked Alaska, but I was like, I'm going to make baked Alaska for the boys now this week while I'm off.
I think baked Alaska was just a sponge.
Yeah, it was a sponge.
Like a regular sponge, like a Victoria sponge.
But this one had lady fingers, then it had strawberry ice cream, vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, and then I'm like, that's not my idea.
It's a lot of faff.
Yeah,
Claire McCabe would just do regular Victoria sponge, vanilla ice cream and meringue.
Delicious. That's what I'm going to make this week.
And a bit of jam or something?
But is there jam in it? No, I don't think so. Is there? Maybe. Anyway, talking about, maybe there is actually. Like,
I feel like there's a little jammy bit in it.
I'd probably have more jam than Mom would have, because she'd be like, "Oh, look, there's a tiny
scraping of jam,
tiny scrape of jam left in the jar. This will be fine. I'll put it along the half a leek and make a baked Alaska with it." Did you know? I was talking with a friend of mine this week, speaking of Colin Farrell, and she mentioned we were talking about what's this new movie with Jared Leto, My So-Called Life. God, like, he's so attractive in movies, and then when I see him in real life, I'm like, oh, he's so annoying. Yeah.
But I have no idea.
He's in this new Marvel vampire Morbius or something.
Oh, okay. Go on.
So I was watching the trailer when I went to see Uncharted with the boys last week, and I was like, God, that trailer actually looks pretty good. Looks a bit violent, blah, blah, blah. Looks kind of, looks dark. I was like, Jared Leto's so attractive. I was right to fancy him. And then at the end, he stands there in one of his Gucci suits and said, like, with this, shirt open down to here, looking probably about the width of my pinky finger, which is only destined not to make me feel, great when I'm dating him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's better dressed and more glamorous, etc. than I am. Well, I mean, he is actually a Hollywood movie star, so maybe this makes sense now that I said it out loud. Anyway, and then at the end, he's like, "Come and watch Morbius. It would be a really good movie." I'm like, oh, for God's sake, why is he so annoying? But anyway, a good actor nonetheless. Anyway, my friend goes, "Did you know that he was in House of Gucci, which I've yet to watch?" I'm like, yeah. She goes, with all the prosthetics on and a really bad accent. But like, why do they hire attractive actors and make them look ridiculous? Because the whole thing is like, it's hard to be attractive. It's not actually hard to be unattractive. Which then led me on to think about the recent Batman with Robert Pattinson. And that's Colin Farrell is the Penguin, full of prosthetics and an American accent. Why didn't you just hire a short, chubby American? Like, I'm sure there are plenty of them like, give me this moment in my career. Instead, you take a very handsome, attractive Irish man and make him into this American fat penguin.
Well, this American fat penguin. I think it's the same argument about like when they put people in fat suits, like Sarah Paulson for.
Yeah, well, I agree. Like, why
don't you hire fat actors?
But also, there are plenty of extremely amazing actors who have the same probably name recognition as Sarah. It's not like she's not even Colin Farrell, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Or Jared Leto. God.
I'm trying to think what other tricks have been played on me, or have I played on people. Do you remember the time that Mom surprised you by coming over and you didn't know she was coming? That was cute.
What a dote. And there she was in the hallway. I was shocked. I was so shocked.
Oh,
it was so nice. That was a lot of effort, but like, that wasn't a trick. That was a beautiful
treat.
Yeah, it was
a treat. Like, I'd like to surprise Mom and Dad by going home, but the problem is that how would I get to the house? I have to get one of my friends to pick me up and bring me.
That'd be grand. Why would that be a problem? You have cousins, you have aunts and uncles. I actually am pretty sure that people have played really mean tricks on me for April Fools, but I've forgotten them all. Surprise, surprise.
Well, whoever that shop assistant sold you those pinstripe trousers, that was bad.
Funny.
Thanks.
Very funny. No, I feel like there were a couple of like humiliating tricks. I mean, I wonder if that ex-boyfriend of mine who gave me that hippopotamus necklace from the World Wildlife Federation for my birthday, if he was trolling me, like, or if it was actually a gift. Like, it was actually
he just seems mad.
He wasn't mad.
Like,
I don't use that word, Rosemary.
he just seems a bit off kilter.
Very good.
What do you think makes a good April Fool? Like what makes? Oh, sorry, I was going to say a friend of a friend of mine. He and his friend used to do all these pranks on each other all the time to like an exhausting degree where you'd be like, oh, they're doing another prank. Anyway, one time he got this letter in the post saying he had to be called for jury duty. And he was working as an accountant. He was working on some really big account, and the jury duty was on these weeks where he was on this big account. So he had to go to his boss and be like, I can't work on this. I'm going to have to move to a different team, blah, blah, blah. Went through this whole rigmarole. It turned out it was a prank. His friend basically faked the letter and sent it to him.
I understood
He was
that.
he was in a rage. He was so raging.
So he didn't think it was a funny prank?
No, he did not think it was a funny. I think if it hadn't involved work, and if he hadn't, because I think he was looking forward to working on whatever project he was working on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Well, I was just about to say, maybe work is off bounds, and then I was thinking back to the example I just gave about myself, and I was like, maybe not.
Well, no, but like that was not a friend you work with. Like,
well, it was also not me. It was not.
You're not in her workplace.
It did, but also did not require her to actually exhibit any of these embarrassing, like to cry or do anything hysterical or ask for special treatment in her workplace. It just allowed her. It just meant she probably went into work with a pretty puffy eyes at 10 o'clock. And you know what? It probably gave her a renewed sense of appreciation for her job.
She should be thanking you.
Yeah, precisely. That's
oh
exactly
my God,
what I'm
text her
thinking.
right now and say, just occurred to me, you should be grateful for that time that I traumatized you. First thing in the morning.
We traumatized
you know what?
you.
There's actually, you know what? April Fool's and the one you played on me the other day, only that I figured it out right, only that I twigged. But like, if I had believed that would have ruined my day. You know, I hate crying first thing in the morning. If I'd been crying after I got that text, it would have ruined my day. And then you'd be laughing your head off. And my day be ruined.
Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. You've no idea.
I have an idea. I've seen you laughing that hard before, you absolute head wrecker. Sure, you were laughing that hard the time that you sent. Remember when you were sending Dawn the anniversary gifts? You're like, oh my God, when are they going to arrive? He's forgotten it's our anniversary. We're so excited.
I was so excited. There's a mean streak happening here. I was trying to think of some good April Fool's tricks that I could play on the kids, but I couldn't really think of anything that they would like get. They're not sophisticated enough yet.
You could have told them the spring break was cancelled.
Oh my God. You see, that's mean. Rosemary, why can't you come up with a funny one?
It's not mean.
It's so mean.
There are worse things that could happen.
I couldn't put up with Chance shrieking. He started doing the Bluey shriek.
What's the Bluey shriek?
Where they just go around, they Bluey and Bingo have a thing where they just go around and emulate being crows. And just going, caw, 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 caw. And he just goes around the house. They all just go around the house doing this at each other. And it is so infuriating.
Oh my God, that is really annoying. You started doing the Bluey shriek.
No, and I just go, hey, would you stop doing that? Go, do the Bluey, go. And I'm like, oh, but his is even more high pitched. I realize as well when he gets upset, he'll be over here, Mom, can we do this tonight? And then I'll go blah blah blah. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, he has a very, of all of them now, his like protest scream is very grating.
You know, I do think that like maybe it could serve him in later life, right? You know, he could either act as a lookout if you have a broken alarm, or maybe he will be musical.
Yeah, listen, you're really holding out hope for these musical children.
I am, indeed, I am. And Fox is singing Lil Nas X, just one line from it.
Bo is very good at percussion, strings.
That's not really what I want them to be good at.
Oh, why not? Everybody likes a drummer.
Yeah, but not actually practicing in your house. Do you remember our cousin used to play the viola?
Point.
And like, she is a beautiful musician, and it is wonderful to attend one of her concerts where she plays a piece from start to finish that she has obviously practiced.
Oh yeah, there's nothing
in
worse
her home,
than hearing.
but listening to years of the violin and the viola, and I only had to listen to it when I was in her house.
Sorry, listening to years of somebody practicing opera is also difficult. Do you remember the time? Do you remember the dog we had who used to howl along with you?
Absolute bitch! I can't even believe
it. The scales and everything. It's a bit head wrecking, bitch. You can imagine. Come on, have some self-awareness.
Unlike our cousin, I practiced rarely and under pressure.
True.
Yeah, only when it was the 2 days before actually the day I had to go and actually go back and do my singing.
Same, yeah. For piano, I'd be like, shit, I have piano tomorrow.
Unlike my dedicated cousin, who is now actually a professional musician. So, I mean, that says something, that the passion was always there. And I should have known, even when I was like, when am I going to get plucked out to do Le Turando in La Scala? I wasn't going to, because I wasn't working hard enough.
Plucked out.
Yeah.
What April Fool's could I have done to Brandon? I literally, and you know what's so annoying as well? It's kind of like when someone does a pun, right? And then you start thinking, what pun can I send them back? I spent the next 2 hours of my Friday trying to think, who can I April Fool? Couldn't think of anything. I just kept like drawing a complete blank. I was getting really annoyed because I kind of, I suppose, believe in the thing that you should do it before noon. Because I'm like, otherwise it's too late.
I never even heard that till you said that. I feel like a decent April Fool's, probably like a decent Halloween costume, actually has to be planned in advance.
Oh my God, can I just say the most amazing April Fools I ever thought of, but I've never actually managed to do, right? Okay, so in this scenario, you have to be single. You have to be dating someone. You can be dating them for about a year, but no more, no less, right? I know it's very specific, but if anybody out here, if this is going to fit your bill for next April, start working on it now. Start buying them clothes, right? But only buy them things that you can also buy for babies. You know, so when you get like, oh, you can buy that exact same jumper in H&M for your baby as you can get for a man, right?
So are you specifying that when you buy this adult version, you also should buy the baby version at the same time?
Yes, and you hide it. And then on April Fool's Day, you go, I'm so sorry. I put all your clothes into a really hot wash.
Absolute Egypt.
But the problem is, imagine if they found all these tiny clothes before April Fool's Day.
It'd be grand.
Just be like, is she creating a tiny voodoo doll of me?
Rosemary, in your case, you just add them to the plethora of clothes in your baby's wardrobe and they would just disappear.
Yeah, but if I'd only been dating someone for a year and we didn't have a baby, they'd be like, she's a psycho.
Why do you have to be dating for a year? Why couldn't you do this to Brandon next April Fool's?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it hadn't occurred to me.
A year, no more, no less. Why?
I think it was because in case they find them. I was getting confused. I think there was something about like that they think you were buying them for your future baby and be horrified by that as well, which would also be funny.
I do actually think this is a good idea.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
That's a good one. Yeah, I think you shared that with me before, and I've obviously.
I know, but the effort. I've never been one to put an effort into a prank.
All you do is buy baby clothes. So I think in your case it's different. You're saying buy an adult piece and a baby clothes to match. When you next go to purchase your baby clothes, see if there's an adult piece to match.
Yeah, good idea.
That's all you need to do. It'd be super easy. I would actually love to see Brandon going around wearing a pair of like caramel coloured stars pants, soft.
Oh,
yeah, so
he'd be so cute.
And in his case as well, the tiny baby sizes would be particularly entertaining.
Oh, I've kind of stopped buying baby clothes now because I have enough, but I'm very bored. Like, I really enjoyed buying baby clothes. It was a great hobby.
Kind of stopped.
No, I haven't bought anything in a couple of weeks now.
Oh,
I bought some stuff for the boys, but not for Atlas.
Rosemary, most people consider that normal purchasing behaviour. I haven't bought anything in 2 weeks. That's not stopping.
I said a couple of weeks, and what I meant was like 6 weeks.
As if.
Yeah, I meant
As
6.
If I've been reading your spending diaries.
No, I bought some stuff for myself. I bought myself a pair of pants from Pact that I was going to return, and now I'm like, maybe I should just keep them. Maybe they'll stretch. Famous last words.
God, that's not a good note. I mean, I have some things I need to send back as well. I actually need your help.
Did you find your skiers jumper for me?
Yeah, told you I did.
Great. I'll have to get it now so I can wear my matching set.
What else have you ever been pranked in any, like, not on April Fool's Day? Has anybody ever pulled the wool over your sharp and beady eyes in any other way?
I'm trying to think. I'm sure they have, but I just don't remember. I'm sure you have, but I just don't remember. You enjoy a prank. Mom, like mom tries to prank you sometimes, or like when we were little, that she'd be like, oh, we did this, but she always goes too far. It's kind of like you saying you're moving between here and Indy. Like mom would have said, we're moving to Hawaii. And then you'd be like, I know that's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She always goes too far.
Yeah, she'd go, oh, we had a great time today. We went over to so-and-so. She just had in one little thing like, oh, we had a delicious ice cream on the way home, and you'd be raging. Like, what do you mean you had an ice cream?
Yeah, and then she go, and then we went to Brown Thomas and tried on clothes. You'd be like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's always something stupid that you know she wouldn't do.
She can't. She's no self-restraint. She can't stop. She's no self-restraint.
Remember that time that we made mom the thing for Christmas? It was like, you've won a one-on-one style consultation with Brendan Courtney.
Yes, that was amazing.
And he's going to bring you for a bra fitting and everything.
Oh my God. I was thinking actually we should have done something like that with mom, like that we entered her to win something, you know, because she's totally forgotten about Brendan Courtney at this point. That was years ago.
That's a good idea. Maybe next time she comes over, we should be like, we decided that we'd love to have, we're going to get massages before having someone come over to the house, and then get someone come over.
That's a brilliant idea.
Who we know, like, and just wear a robe. You know what I mean?
It's like when I said to you, I've got a photographer for your baby shower. And you thought I was pranking you, but I wasn't. And then you loved it and you stood in front of the wind machine. So like you went from 0 to 100.
I know. I shared that on Instagram, didn't I, recently? And I was like, I do not want a photographer at my baby shower. Also me, in this picture of me just like posing with my hair blowing in the wind. I loved it. And I actually was thinking I'm going to ask her to take some headshots for me, because anytime I write something and they go, do you have a headshot? I'm like, no, I just have this selfie I took against my living room wall that looks stupid.
Can you not
so I'm going to ask her to do some headshots.
Can you not crop out any of those pictures where you look like the Venus de Milo?
Well, yes, but now this is going to sound very vain. My face was very swollen at that point, Beatrice. I don't facially, like when you crop them, I just look very chubby in the face. I don't look beautiful and pregnant anymore. I look like puffy. I look like I've had an allergic reaction to something.
That's what I always feel about, like when I'm always like, I need to lose this baby fat, and I look at Fox and he's about to be 4 next month, and I go, it's just fat. It's not baby fat anymore. Because
Oh,
I'd
he's a
lost it.
dote.
I'd lost it and then I put it all back on. So annoying. I need to lose this pandemic fat. That's what it is. Do you know what? Like, fucking, I need to make this more. I need to lose this global fucking pandemic fat. Like, that's actually, you know what I mean? It's, if ever there was a reason to put on weight and like to be comfort
this
eating.
is what I was about to say. I
The
was about to
global
say,
pandemic
maybe you
was
just need
it.
to give yourself a break. And we all need to give ourselves a break, that we've just gone through a massive global life upheaval.
Yeah, my eyes start to twitch now when you said that.
The world will never be exactly the same as it was before, and we will never be exactly the same as we were before. And that's all fine, but we're allowed to take time and to eat through our feelings as we process that.
I wasn't even eating through my feelings. It's just bored. I'm tired.
Yeah,
and
that's-
stressed.
Yeah, and that's fine. I too eat when I'm tired. and
I wasn't
stressed and
even
bored.
eating. I think I was just drinking wine.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that's fine.
Thanks, Rosemary. Thanks
Yeah,
a
you're
lot.
welcome.
Thanks. She's like, and then you're like, April Fools. Lose it, fatty.
April Fools, you minger. I want to bring back the word minger. I
Oh
haven't
my
used
God.
that word in ages.
I love the word minger. It's brilliant. And gobber.
Oh, minger and gobber. There's another one. What is it now?
The only problem is
I'm in
minger.
Stitches. I was in Stitches. I like that as well.
The only problem is, and I also love gas. I say that's gas and nobody has a clue what I mean.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
same.
here's the problem though. Is minger a surname in Ireland? Because it's a surname in America. And it
Oh,
was actually
yeah.
the name of one of Nash's teachers.
Oh, yeah, so you can't really be
So
using
like
that
it was
pejoratively.
hard to be saying things like, you're such a minger.
That's
Have some,
minging.
respect your teacher.
Let me see now. Minger is in the Oxford Languages Dictionary. An unattractive or unpleasant person or thing.
Oh.
And then the example they use is, why can't anyone see that Spencer is a complete minger? Poor Spencer.
I feel like though when it is used by a British person, it seems much more posh. Like it feels much more like he is such a minger, like he's really prissy. Whereas like to me, a minger is like hideously warty, like just,
It's just like gross. If somebody who doesn't wash, you're a minger.
yeah, like total minger. But also,
Or
yeah.
somebody who like eats gravy with their finger. Minger.
Oh yeah, absolute mingbot, right? Whereas I feel like a British minger is much more like, oh, he's just like a little bit nerdy. Whereas to me, that's not. No, do you know what I mean? I think though it's
I
used
know what you
differently.
mean. The internet also says, what is a minger in Australia? And the answer is, in Australia, the word minge refers to the female pubic hair.
Oh my God, I should use this. You are a minger, Rosemary. You are a total minger.
And then related, what is a dozy pillock?
Oh, Dad loves that word, pillock.
What is a clanker?
What is a clanker? A bad joke?
Something that makes a clanking noise.
Or a
a fib.
Or a
Hang
bad
on.
joke. Oh, that's
What
a total
does
clanker.
What does bahookie mean in Scottish?
Oh,
The buttocks.
really?
Bahookie.
Do you say things like shake your bahookie over here?
It doesn't give an
Shake your bahookie over here. Oh, that was terrible.
What does shugle mean in
It was
Scottish?
almost good.
To
Shugle.
shake, sway, or rock back and forth.
Oh, shugle your bahookie.
Oh my God, what does a wabbit mean in Scottish?
I just like to say, I don't know. I'd like to just disclaim these accents. They're just accents, right? I'm not like I'm not specifying a location.
what does wabbit mean in Scottish? Exhausted or tired out?
Oh, I thought it was like when I'm just tired and I pronounce rabbit.
I thought it was
Wabbit.
Just like, what'd you wabbit?
What was it? Shugle your bahookie. Shugle your wabbity bahookie over here. Oh wait, no.
Your exhausted
Oh, yeah.
bahookie.
Yeah. She tried to shugle her bahookie, but
What does havering mean in
Can
Scottish?
you say wabbity? She was all
It doesn't
wabbited.
say.
I don't know. It's weird.
Haver, to talk nonsense, gibberish, to speak rubbish. When I haver, well, I know I'm gonna be the one that's havering to you.
Oh, I listened to that on the radio the other day.
Yeah, I
actually.
love that song. Thank you all so much for listening to Not Without My Sister. This has been a pleasure, a treat.
Mm-hmm.
April Fools was shit. I hate doing this podcast. No, I love it. I love you all. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity, sound and original music by Don Kirkland, and our original illustration is by Lindsay Nielsen.
Petrified, the horror fiction anthology podcast from a darker Ireland, is back.
Who's there?
Petrified tells the chilling tales of ordinary people encountering the supernatural and their terrifying fates.
Oh, dear God! Reverend Mother!
CrimeReads.com said Petrified is extremely well written, expertly produced, and brilliantly acted.
Don't leave me here!
Petrified, Series 2 out now.